I still remember the sound of that paper. It was not loud. It was not dramatic. It was just a small TK sound. The sound of an ATM receipt coming out of a machine. I was standing outside the Nat West Bank on Lewisham High Street. The morning sun was pale and weak. Nothing like the harsh heat I grew up with. My hand was shaking a little because I had just checked my balance. And the number did not make sense. I had saved that money for 11 years. Every month, after paying for groceries, after buying my arthritis cream, after sending a little gift for my grandson's birthday, I put aside 20 pounds. Sometimes only 10. But I never skipped. That account was my lifeline. My daughter-in-law knew about it. My son knew about it. We had all laughed once. Mum's little safety net Tom had joked. But that morning, the screen showed less than 600 pounds. I blinked. I put my reading glasses on. I pressed view mini statement. And then I saw the withdrawals. Small amounts at first. 20 here. 40 there. Then a big one. 350 pounds. Just 10 days ago. The receipt felt heavier than any piece of paper should feel. And in that moment, sitting on a plastic chair outside the bank, I did not feel anger. I felt something worse. I felt stupid. Because I already knew the truth. I had known it for months. I just did not want to see it. My daughter-in-law. My sweet, smiling Claire, who brought me flowers every Mother's Day. She had been draining me dry. And my son. My only child. He had helped her do it. Let me take you back. Not to the betrayal, but to the beginning. My name is Margaret. I am 64 years old. I live in a small terraced house on a quiet street in Bromley, southeast London. The house is old. The windows rattle when the wind blows. But the neighbors are good. Next door is Mrs. Patricia, who always shares her homemade scones on Sunday mornings. Across the street is a young Polish couple who argue at midnight and make up by breakfast. Life is small, but it is mine. I was a primary school teaching assistant for 32 years. I worked at a little school called St. Catherine's, Class 2, 6- and 7-year-olds. Do you know how much a teaching assistant makes in England? Enough to live. Not enough to save. But I saved anyway. Because I had one dream. That my son would never struggle the way I did. Tom, my Tom. He was a quiet boy. He did not have many friends. He loved drawing. Birds and cars, and sometimes me sitting in the garden with a cup of tea. After his father passed away. A heart attack, sudden. Tom was just 13. We became each other's whole world. I worked extra shifts at the local care home in the evenings. He studied at the small kitchen table under a lamp that flickered. He became an accountant. A good one. Steady job at a firm near London Bridge. Not rich, but stable. Then he met Claire. Claire came from a nice family in Surrey. Her father owned a small printing business. Her mother was a receptionist at a dentist office. When Tom brought her home for the first time, she was wearing a soft blue jumper and carrying a box of Thornton's chocolates. She hugged me when we met. Margaret, Tom has told me so much about you. I cried that night. Happy tears. Because my boy had found someone. And because I would finally have a daughter. The wedding was simple. Too simple for Claire's mother, who kept hinting at a bigger venue and a more expensive caterer. But I gave what I could. A small contribution toward the dress. A lovely reception at our local village hall. I also told Tom and Claire they could live with me until they saved enough for their own place. That was the agreement. Temporary. 6 months, maybe a year. Claire was sweet in the beginning. She made tea for me every morning. She asked for my recipes, my stew, my apple crumble. She even started calling me Mum without the Margaret. That intimacy touched me. I thought God has been kind to me. But small things started changing. Little cracks. After 3 months, Claire stopped making tea. She said her migraines were getting worse. I said, "Love, it is fine. I will make it." Then she stopped cooking dinner. Then she stopped helping with the washing up. When I gently mentioned that we all share the housework, she smiled and said, "Mum, you are so strong. You manage everything so well. I wish I had your energy." That was her gift, making her laziness sound like my strength. Tom did not notice. Or maybe he did not want to. He would come home tired from work, eat whatever I made, and fall asleep on the sofa. Claire would be in the bedroom, on her phone, laughing at videos. When I asked Tom about her helping with the bills, he said she is looking for a job, Mum. Give her time. 6 months became 1 year. 1 year became 2. And then the demands started. The first real crack happened on Tom's birthday. He was turning 34. I had saved £150 to buy him a new watch. A nice Seiko. Nothing fancy, but good quality. Claire came to me 2 days before the birthday. She was wearing a new dressing gown. Expensive looking. I had never seen it before. "Mum," she said, sitting on the edge of my bed. "Tom does not want a watch." "What does he want?" I asked. "There is this course. Digital marketing. It will help him get a promotion. But it costs £400. I hesitated. 400 was a lot. My pension was only 800 per month. Claire leaned closer. Her voice became softer. "Mum, you want the best for him, don't you? He works so hard. This course will change his career. And the last date to register is tomorrow." I asked Tom that evening. He looked uncomfortable. "Claire thinks it is a good idea," he said, not meeting my eyes. I withdrew the money the next morning. £400 from my savings account. I handed it to Claire in an envelope. She hugged me. "Thank you, Mum. You are the best." I never saw a receipt for any course. When I asked Tom 2 months later how the classes were going, he said it is online. Self-paced. 6 months later, the course was never mentioned again. Then came the medical emergency. Claire's mother needed urgent surgery. Gallbladder. £900. Her family was short on cash. Could I help? Just a loan. They would return it in 2 months. I called Claire's mother myself to wish her well. She sounded confused. "Surgery. Margaret, I am perfectly fine. I just came back from my Zumba class." I did not confront Claire that day. I told myself maybe her mother was embarrassed. Maybe she did not want to admit her illness. We do this in families. We lie to protect dignity. But the money was gone. £900. And no one ever spoke of returning it. The turning point, the sentence that changed everything, came at a family wedding. My nephew's wedding in Croydon. I gave Claire £200 to buy herself a new outfit. "Get something nice, love. You represent our family." She bought a dress for £500. When I asked about the difference, she said, "Mum, I had to add some of my own money. I wanted to look good for you." Except 2 weeks later, I saw a photo on her phone. Left open on the dining table. A bank transfer from my account. £300. The same day she bought the dress. She had my debit card. She knew my PIN. I had given it to her once 2 years ago when I had the flu and asked her to pick up my prescription. I had forgotten to take the card back. That night, I lay awake in my bed. The radiator clicked on and off. And I asked myself the question that would change everything. Is my son stealing from me? Or is he just letting her do it? I did not want the answer. But I was going to get it anyway. For the next 4 months, I did not say a word. I watched. I listened. I became a quiet observer in my own home. And what I saw broke my heart slowly, like a crack spreading across a glass, one tiny line at a time. First incident. The grocery receipt. We have a system in my house. I give Claire £80 every week for food. Milk and bread and vegetables and household things. This has been the system for 2 years. I trusted her. One Tuesday, I went to the local corner shop myself because we were out of rice. The shopkeeper, old Mr. Jenkins, who has known me for 15 years, handed me the bill. £5.20 for rice and tea bags. Then he said, "Margaret, your daughter-in-law is very clever." I asked what he meant. He lowered his voice. "She comes here every week, takes the usual items, maybe £15 worth. But she asks me to write a bill for 40. For your records, she says. I never did it because I don't cheat. But she found another shop who does. My hands went cold. I paid for the rice and walked home slowly. The afternoon felt heavy on my chest. That night I checked the weekly expense notebook Claire kept. Monday. Food and milk. £42, Tuesday. Cleaning supplies. £35. Wednesday. Meat and special items. £50. Every week she was pocketing £40 to £50. Just from the grocery money. Just from me. Second incident. The school fee lie. My grandson Leo was 4 years old then. He went to a little nursery school nearby. Nothing fancy. £60 per month. I paid it directly to the school on the 1st of every month. One day, Claire came to me with her phone in her hand. "Mum," she said, "the school is increasing fees. Now it is $120 per month." They sent this message. She showed me a WhatsApp forward. No letterhead. No signature. Just a poorly typed message that said, "Dear parents, fees revised." I did not say anything. The next morning, I walked to the school myself. The head teacher, a stern but kind woman named Mrs. Johnson, laughed when I showed her the message. "Margaret, we have not increased fees in 2 years. And even if we did, we would send a printed letter. This is fake." I thanked her and left. That evening, when Claire asked for the extra fee money, I said, "I will pay the school directly from now on, love. You don't need to worry." Her face changed. For just 1 second. A flash of anger. Then the smile returned. "Of course, Mum. Whatever is easier for you." But I saw it. That flash. And I understood something important. She was not stealing because she was desperate. She was stealing because she enjoyed it. Third incident. The silent treatment. After I took over the school fee payment, Claire's behavior changed. She stopped talking to me at breakfast. She stopped saying good morning. She would sit at the dining table with her phone scrolling, ignoring me completely. Tom noticed. One evening, he asked her if everything was okay between her and me. Claire sighed loudly. "I don't know," she said. "She used to trust me. Now she checks everything. Maybe I am not good enough for this family." That was her weapon. Making herself the victim. That night, Tom came to my room. He looked tired. His shirt was wrinkled. "Mum," he said, "Claire feels you don't trust her. Please. She is my wife. Just go easy on her." I wanted to scream. I wanted to say she is stealing from us, love. She is lying to us. But I did not have proof. Not yet. And more than that, I was afraid. Afraid that if I pushed too hard, I would lose my son. So I stayed quiet. And I started losing myself instead. The private costs. Let me tell you what no one sees in these stories. The private costs. I stopped buying my blood pressure medication for 2 months because I was afraid of my bank balance. I rationed my arthritis cream. I ate only soup and bread for dinner, while Claire ordered takeaway pizza for herself and Leo. My knees hurt so badly one night that I could not sleep. I sat on the edge of my bed at 3 in the morning staring at the wall, tears running down my face. Not from the pain, from the loneliness. I had no one to tell. My sister lives in Manchester. My friends from work. They would not understand. They would say Tom is a good boy. It must be a misunderstanding. They would tell me to adjust, to compromise, to be the bigger person. But how big can a person be when she is being emptied from the inside? I started keeping a diary. A small blue notebook I bought from W.H. Smith for £2. Every night I wrote down what happened, the lies, the missing money, the dates, the amounts, page after page, evidence. I did not know what I was going to do with it. But writing made me feel less invisible, less crazy. The fourth incident, the one that changed my mind. 3 months into my silent watching, I found something in Claire's wardrobe. I was not snooping. I was looking for a bedsheet, the blue one with flowers. I wanted to lend it to my neighbor Pat, whose daughter was getting married. Tom and Claire were out at the cinema. Leo was at a birthday party. I opened the top shelf of their wardrobe, the shelf where Claire kept her nice things, and I saw it. A jewelry box. Not small. It was the size of a laptop. I opened it. Inside were 4 gold bangles, 2 pairs of earrings, a thick gold chain, and a diamond ring. I recognized the bangles. They were mine. The ones my own mother had given me at my wedding. I had kept them in my jewelry case in my bedroom, in a purple velvet pouch. I had not checked that pouch in months. I went to my room, opened my cupboard. The pouch was still there, but it was lighter. The bangles were gone. In their place was a note written in Claire's handwriting. Mum borrowed these for family wedding. Will return. Sorry for not asking. No date. No apology in person. Just a note. Hidden inside a pouch she thought I would not open. That night I did not cry. I did not scream. I sat on my back step from 11 at night until 2 in the morning, watching the streetlights flicker. And I made a decision. I was not going to confront her in anger. I was not going to beg my son to see the truth. I was not going to become the toxic mother-in-law in their story. I was going to be quiet. And I was going to win. Not revenge, but dignity. The discovery that changed everything happened on a Thursday. A normal Thursday. Tom had left for work at 7:30. Claire had taken Leo to the park. I was alone. My phone rang. It was the bank. Not a scam call. The actual branch manager. A polite man named Mr. Davies. Margaret, he said, we are calling because there has been an unusual transaction on your fixed-rate bond account. I froze. What fixed-rate bond? Silence on the line. Then he said, Ma'am, you opened a fixed-rate bond of £5,000 18 months ago at our Lewisham branch. The nominated beneficiary is one Claire Wilson. Relationship. Daughter-in-law. Yesterday, a request was made to break the bond early. The penalty fee is high, but we wanted to confirm with you before processing. I had never opened any fixed-rate bond. I asked Mr. Davies to send me the documents by email. Tom had helped me set up an email address last year. By 2 in the afternoon, my phone pinged. I opened the attachment with shaking fingers. The account was opened in my name. But the signature on the form was not mine. It was a rough copy. Someone had practiced writing Margaret Clark several times before getting it right. The address listed was my home address. The phone number was mine. but the mobile number for verification was. I recognized it. It was Claire's number. She had forged my signature. She had opened a bond in my name using my passport, which she had access to in the common drawer. And she had made herself the beneficiary. And now she was breaking it. £5,000. My entire savings. Everything I had left after 11 years of careful, painful saving. I did not call the police. I did not call Tom. I sat on my sofa for 3 hours, staring at the wall. And I thought about every single choice that had led me here. And then I called my younger sister, Helen. Helen lives in Manchester. She is a solicitor. Not a big corporate solicitor, but a small family law solicitor who handles property disputes and divorce cases. She is sharp. She is fair. And she loves me. I told her everything. The grocery receipts. The fake school fee. The gold bangles. The bond. There was a long pause. Then Helen said, "Margaret, do you want to file a police report?" I said no. I could not send my son's wife to jail. I could not let Leo grow up with that shadow. Helen sighed. Then listen carefully. Here is what you do. What she told me changed the power balance completely. She said the bond is in your name. You do not need anyone's permission to close it yourself. Go to the bank tomorrow morning. Close the bond. Transfer the money. Every single pound. Into a new account at a different bank. One that Claire does not know about. Do not tell anyone. Not even Tom. She also said your gold bangles are yours. Legally, they are your property. If you want them back, you can demand them. But Margaret, do you want the bangles back? Or do you want to teach them a lesson? I thought about it, and I realized I did not want the bangles back. I wanted to see if my son would choose to return them himself. That was the test. That night, I wrote a new page in my blue notebook. Not evidence this time, a plan, step 1. Close the bond, step 2. Secure the remaining savings. Step 3. Watch and wait. See how far they would go on their own. And step 4. The hardest one. Prepare myself to lose my son if necessary. Because sometimes dignity costs more than money. The next morning I woke up at 5:30. Earlier than usual. The house was quiet. Tom and Claire's door was closed. I could hear the soft sound of the radiator and nothing else. I wore my oldest cardigan. A gray one with a small button missing. I wanted to look ordinary. Invisible. I did not want anyone at the bank to remember me as the suspicious mother-in-law. I took my driving license, my passport, my bank book, and a small cloth bag with a change of clothes in case I needed to go somewhere else directly. I left a note on the kitchen table. Gone to the library. Back by lunchtime. At 6:30, I was standing outside the bank. It was not open yet. I waited with the security guard, an old Sikh man, who offered me a sip of his tea from a metal cup. I accepted. Tea at dawn shared with a stranger. That small kindness kept me from crying. The bank opened at 9. I was the third person in line. Mr. Davies recognized me. "Margaret, you came personally. Good." I told him I wanted to close the bond. Immediately. And transfer the entire amount plus whatever was left in my current account into a new savings account at a different branch. He raised his eyebrows, but did not ask questions. That is the good thing about bank managers in Southeast London. They have seen everything. Mothers hiding money from sons. Wives hiding money from husbands. They do not judge. They just process. Within an hour, the bond was closed. The money, £4,800 after penalty, was sitting in a new current account. I opened a second fixed-rate bond for £3,000 locked for 1 year at a different bank. A small building society in the next town. The remaining £1,800 I put in a third account. This one was joint with my sister Helen. That meant no one could withdraw money without both our signatures. I left the bank at 10:30. My hands were empty, but my heart was lighter. Allies in safe places. Over the next 2 weeks, I quietly built my safety net. I called my neighbor Pat. I did not tell her everything. Just enough. If I ever need a place to stay for a few days, can I knock on your door? She squeezed my hand. Margaret, you don't even need to ask. My home is your home. I went to the local police station. Not to file a report, but to ask a general question. I told the officer on duty, a young woman named Constable Kelly, that I was worried about identity theft. She gave me a form to fill out just for record keeping. I filled it. I mentioned the forged bond. I did not name Claire, but I created a paper trail. I also started going to the church on Tuesdays, not just for prayer, but to build an alibi. Margaret is always at church, Claire would say. And she would be right. But while she thought I was praying, I was actually thinking, planning, waiting. The bank statements. I requested paper statements for every account. Mailed to Pat's address, not mine. Every week Pat would slip the envelope under my door when Claire was in the shower. I kept those statements in a yellow folder inside my blue notebook. Page after page. Date after date. The evidence was now complete. 11 months of lies. 47 individual transactions. A total of £5,800 stolen. I knew the exact number. £5,800. That is what my trust had cost me. The hardest conversation. With myself. One night, unable to sleep, I sat in front of the small mirror in my room. The mirror was old. The silver backing had started to peel at the edges. I looked at my face. 64 years old. Wrinkles around the eyes. Gray hair that I stopped dyeing last year because I could not afford the good brand anymore. I asked myself, Margaret, what do you actually want? I wanted my son to see the truth. I wanted my daughter-in-law to feel sorry. Not punished, but genuinely sorry. I wanted my grandson to grow up knowing that stealing is wrong even if the person stealing is his own mother. And I wanted to walk out of this with my head held high. That meant no shouting. No crying in front of them. No public drama. No Facebook posts. No family WhatsApp groups. Just quiet, steady, dignified resolve. I made a promise to myself that night. I will not become bitter. I will become careful. The climax did not come from me. It came from Tom. 3 weeks after I closed the bond, Claire must have tried to access it. She would have gone to the bank flashing my passport, expecting the money to be there. And she would have been told this account is closed. The funds have been transferred. She panicked. I know she panicked because Tom came home from work early that day. His face was red. Not angry. Embarrassed. There is a difference. He found me in the kitchen peeling potatoes for dinner. Leo was watching cartoons in the living room. Claire was in the bedroom with the door closed. Mum, Tom said. His voice was tight. Did you close your fixed-rate bond? I did not stop peeling the potatoes. Yes, love. Why didn't you tell us? I looked up. Why did I need to tell you? It is my money. He opened his mouth, closed it, then said Claire is very upset. She said you don't trust us anymore. I put the knife down. I dried my hands on my apron. And I spoke, calmly, quietly. But with every ounce of truth I had carried for 11 months. Tom, sit down, he sat. On the kitchen stool. He looked small suddenly. Like the 13-year-old boy who had lost his father. I opened the yellow folder. I took out the bank statements, the forged bond application, the fake school fee message, the grocery receipts, the note about the gold bangles. I laid them on the kitchen counter, one by one, like a doctor laying out instruments before surgery. Then I said, your wife has taken 5,800 pounds from me in 11 months. She forged my signature. She stole my mother's gold bangles. She lied about your son's school fees. She told a shopkeeper to fake bills. Ask her. Ask her right now. Tom stared at the papers. His hands were shaking. He did not touch anything. He just looked. Then he whispered, Mum, why did you tell me? I tried love. You did not want to hear. That sentence hung in the air between us like smoke. Tom stood up. He walked to the bedroom. He did not shout. I heard him open the door. I heard Claire's voice, high and defensive and sharp. Then I heard Tom say something low and hard. And then I heard the sound I will never forget. Claire crying. Not sad tears. Angry tears. The kind of tears someone cries when they have been caught. She came out of the bedroom 15 minutes later. Her face was puffy. She was holding my gold bangles in her hand. She placed them on the dining table without a word. Then she went back inside and closed the door. Tom came to the kitchen. His eyes were wet. She says she was going to return everything, that she was just borrowing. I did not laugh, but I wanted to. Borrowing requires asking. Borrowing requires returning. This was not borrowing. This was taking from someone who loved them. What do you want me to do, Mum? He asked. And that was the moment. The true climax. Not a fight. Not a confrontation. Just a son lost asking his mother what to do. I said, I want you to decide what kind of man you want to be. Then I picked up my gold bangles, my yellow folder, and my blue notebook. I walked to Pat's house next door. I knocked. She opened the door without asking any questions. That night I slept on Pat's sofa. Not because I had to, but because I needed my son to understand. You cannot hurt me and expect me to stay in the same house cooking your dinner, pretending everything is fine. Some lessons must be taught with absence. I stayed at Pat's house for 6 days. On the 5th day, Tom came to see me, alone. He brought a takeaway curry from the little Indian restaurant down the road. The kind I used to get for him when he was a child and had done well on his exams. He sat on the floor next to the sofa where I was sitting. He did not make excuses for Claire. He did not ask me to come back. He simply said, I have asked her to see a counselor. For lying. For taking things. She has agreed. I asked in the money. He pulled out a piece of paper. A repayment plan. £50 per week from his salary directly into my account until the entire £5,800 was returned. I will pay it, he said, not her, me. Because it is my responsibility. I took the paper. I folded it carefully and put it in my blue notebook. On the 6th day I went home. Claire was not there. She had gone to her mother's house for some time to think. The house felt strange. Empty but not peaceful. Leo ran to me and hugged my legs. Grandma, I missed you. I held him and whispered, I missed you too, my love. The new boundaries. I changed the lock on my bedroom door. I bought a small lockbox with a key and kept it under my bed. I stopped giving Claire grocery money. Instead, I bought the food myself every morning from the corner shop. I paid the school fees directly. I kept my debit card in my bra under my jumper where no one could reach it. Claire returned after 2 weeks. She was quieter. She did not smile as much. She made tea for me one morning, exactly like she used to in the beginning. I thanked her. I drank it, but I did not forget. Trust is like a broken mug. You can glue it back together, but you will always see the cracks. The moral, the real lesson. People ask me, Margaret, do you forgive her? I do not know if forgiveness is the right word. I have accepted what happened. I have made peace with the fact that my daughter-in-law is not the person I thought she was. That my son is weak, but not evil. That I am strong, but not invincible. The real lesson is this: love should not require you to become invisible. For 11 months, I shrank myself. I stopped buying medication. I stopped calling my friends. I stopped sleeping properly, because I was afraid that if I took up too much space, I would lose my family. But the truth is, I had already lost them. The day I stopped trusting myself, that was the real loss. Now I am not invisible anymore. I am 64 years old. I have a blue notebook, a lockbox, and a small fixed bond that no one can touch. I have a son who is learning to be better. And I have a daughter-in-law who now knows without a single shout, without a single public scene, that I am not a bank. I am not a doormat. I am a mother. And a mother's love is patient, but it is not blind. If you have ever felt small in your own home, know this: you are not alone. Share this real life story with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to Her Voices for more calm, emotional stories. Because some lessons are better learned in silence.